I want to talk about Mortal Kombat, dudes. I want to talk about the future of Mortal Kombat because I made a future of Mortal Kombat video like a month ago, and like some shit's changed like since then. So I want to kind of like sit back down, reassess with all of the new things that we've heard about MK1 and the potential of more DLC and everything else. We kind of got surprised, right? I feel like it was very surprising to have that new pro tour, whatever, announced like season 2. Kind of surprised to have that announced. I think we all kind of thought the game was dead, and I was kind of cool with that. I've made a lot of negative videos about Mortal Kombat 1 and 11. Like the past 4 years of my content creation off and on career talking about Mortal Kombat has been super negative because I have not liked either game. And when it comes to Mortal Kombat 11, it's a little bit different because Mortal Kombat 11 did so much for the fighting game community, and we actually need to talk about that in like a separate video. It did so much for the community, bringing in so many new players, helping them play, like learn the game. It was an easier to learn fighting game with a lot of defensive mechanics, which is why I hated it. But it was good to get like casual players into like a competitive level. It helped so much. It sold 15 million copies. I will stand my ground in saying that that's one of the reasons that Street Fighter 6 has done so well. So many MK people moved over to it. Same with Tekken 8. But Street Fighter especially. In my opinion, I'll die on that hill. But when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, it's a little bit different. Mortal Kombat 1 sold poorly. As far as we know, it didn't sell the best. It's way behind MK11, even MKX, I believe. So it's just not doing the best right now. It was rushed. We could tell it was rushed. Launched without so many features that we're used to, like online lobbies, single player modes, interesting single player content. It just released without so much. But you know what we did get? We got a combat pack announced and revealed before the game was even out. Yeah, we got that. It had so many questionable aspects, man, with the monetization, with $10 skins when they came out, $10 announcer packs, man. It wasn't even a pack, a $10 announcer voice. Just questionable monetization, and then you get to Chaos Reigns, a 2-hour story and 6 characters for $50. It's just been a wild ride through MK11 and MK1, with MK11 being like the worst designed fighting game I've ever played personally, and MK1 being the most lackluster, empty fighting game I've ever played. MK1 was definitely more interesting when it came to its gameplay, but it still felt jank and weird because of the cameos, because it was like 3 different people designed this game with 3 entirely different ideas of how they wanted the game to play. One person was like, hey man, I want a slow defensive fighting game, a strike throw fighting game like MK11. And another dude was like, all right, well, I want a high combo fighting game, big combos, but low damage for some reason fighting game. And the third guy is like, hey, motherfuckers, let's add some assists in there. And they just didn't know what they were doing, so it was kind of awkward. But I think with this recent update, which is the reason I wanted to remake this video, the Pink Floyd stuff, adding the Secret Fighter, giving another pro tour, even if I wish they didn't because I just want them to move on, but giving us another pro tour funded with like $255,000, even if I don't think it's saving the game, it's definitely helping the community and the people who will compete and win. Even though that's just all gonna go fucking Sonic Fox, you know, it is what it is. But it still gets people competing and playing. It won't save the game, no. There's not the thousands of people coming back to it for that. But you know, it's what we've needed for a while now. I think it's even better than Season 1, and it took them this long to get to a Season 2. It's what we needed. So they're back on the right track with the Pro Tour Season 2. And then the Pink Floyd stuff. The secret character shit is what Mortal Kombat is known for. That, secret characters, blood and gore, and fucking ninjas. That's what Mortal Kombat's always really been known for, right? So the fact that we got another secret fighter in Mortal Kombat, it's a pink ninja that's been talked about for a very long time. His name is Floyd, an obvious reference to Pink Floyd, which I love. That's great, dude. That's what it's known for. Do I think it was a little complicated to actually get the motherfucker? Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I tried for like 4 hours on stream and couldn't do it. I could do it now because the spreadsheet from the Thinny's done, but like it's just what Mortal Kombat's known for. So it seems like they're kind of listening to the community. They're getting back on track. It was like, hey, y'all aren't doing much for the competitive community, which is what keeps these games alive past like 3 to 4 to 6 months in, especially a fucking year later. It's what keeps the games alive. There's no denying that. So they, you know, it was like, okay, well, let's do something for the competitive community. That's great. And then it was like, hey, our single player content kind of fucking sucks. There's nothing to do outside of invasions and playing the same old towers over and over again for like casual players. And they were like, oh, here's a fucking secret fight. And that's dope, dude. Very intricate, even if it was a little too intricate. So I think they're on the right track. When it comes to the future of Mortal Kombat, it's a little scary because as we know, as it's been rumored, Mortal Kombat 1 isn't receiving any more DLC. And we were supposed to get like another combat pack and from the leaks, another story expansion. It's been rumored from insiders, from the Thinny who has insiders, that is canceled. We've had some more information with this update with some people, Interloco, saying that things in the files lead him to believe that there's going to be more DLC. Yet to be seen, I don't know. I still kind of believe what the Thinny said because of the insiders, but it's alarming because one of the rumored reasons for that was because Chaos Reign sold so poorly, dude. Like, it sold so poorly. Like, nobody fucking bought it, hardly. And that's a little frightening, because Mortal Kombat 1 was already selling a lot less than MK11. And then on top of that, their big, probably costed millions of dollars DLC story expansion didn't do extremely well. They probably lost money on that if the future content's being canceled. It's a little alarming because we're at a point where we've had 2 games in a row, regardless of how well MK11 did, that haven't done extremely well with the community that sticks around for more than 6 months. I'm not too worried about sales when talking about MK11, obviously, because it's one of the best-selling fighting games ever, but I'm worried about MK1 even with that fact, because WB themselves are doing so bad right now. Everything they've done in the game space has bombed for like the past 3 or 4 years, dude. Outside of MK11. That was like their last like super good selling thing. Like, as good as that Hogwarts game was, it didn't sell very well from what I remember. Yeah, Multiverses, it bombed, unfortunately. MK1, Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. The Hogwarts game didn't do very well. Like, so we're at a point where, like, if Mortal Kombat, I feel like we are extremely close to an exodus of Mortal Kombat. And I'm not talking, oh, they're gonna sell off the rights. No, they'll keep the rights. They just won't put the money into a new game for like another 7 to 8 years. And so we're gonna go into the dark age of Mortal Kombat. Like what happened with Marvel vs. Capcom, dude. We've seen it. We've seen a fighting game from one of the most, if not the most, beloved fighting game franchise of all time, with one of the most beloved fighting game creators of all time, that being Capcom. They've made some mistakes, but they're still pretty beloved. We've seen a franchise fucking die because it did so bad. Marvel vs. Capcom is just now coming back. We just got the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, which nobody thought was going to happen. Nobody thought that shit was going to happen. And then it happened. Like, what? It's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out in 2017, 2018 to like 2024, dude. Like, good God. And now we have the potential to get a Marvel 4. I'd say they're working on it, but we've seen it happen. And it shows that, like, it doesn't matter if you're one of, like, the big 5 fighting games, big 4 fighting games, that being Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or Marvel vs. Capcom. You can fucking die, motherfucker. Like, your game can die. And that worries me for MK. Because MK1 has done so bad, and WB's already in such a bad spot. Like, could they be like, man, these games cost too much. The last one was bad. It bombed. So did the DLC that we poured millions more into. Like, I just don't. Maybe some exec there's gonna be like, it ain't worth making another one right now. Let's put our effort into like DC shit, because even if it's bad, everybody buys it, right? With Mortal Kombat, that's a little different. I think we've seen, you know, if Mortal Kombat's not very good, if that game's not very good, it's not going to sell very well. If it's not casual, accessible, and also fun, because I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 was fun for a little bit. The problem with that game was it got super boring and frustrating because of the defensive mechanics. But if you played on a casual level for an extended period of time, you were fine, dude. You didn't care. So it's like, that's my worry right now. Are they going to be like scared to put out another one because of the potential of like losing money? I don't know. Oblivious, I don't think it will die. Mortal Kombat will never die. But I think there's a potential that it could go dormant, like Marvel vs. Capcom. Now, we thought Marvel vs. Capcom was dead. I think we all had it in the back of our heads that like Marvel, like regardless of what we heard or from who, like Marvel vs. Capcom, I feel like we always knew it was eventually going to come back, whether it was 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, 10 years, 20 years. Like, it was going to come back eventually. That would be the same with Mortal Kombat. It won't die forever, but I think it could go dormant until WB's actually making money again and can afford to put the risk on it, because it's a fighting game. It's a niche. It's not selling, you know, 8 to 9 million copies in the first month like some other, you know, more well-known games. Even though it's a household name like Call of Duty is still always going to sell more. So I don't know, man. That's just my worry when it comes to like the future. But I do feel like what they've done, as we were talking about, what they've done with Pink Floyd and with funding the competitive community and getting that hype again, I think that's a good step in the right direction. If they can take those listening ears, bro, and they can listen to the community when we say, hey, we want to go back. Backspace, brother. Backspace. MK9. MKX. That's how we want the games to play. Those were the fun ones. Those were the ones that got everybody playing, everybody talking. MKX is one of the best-selling fighting games of all time as well with MK11. Like, go back, dude. If they keep those listening ears, go back to that gameplay design and that amount of content, dude. Like MK9, I was corrected. MK9 did have online lobbies. Like, no, Mortal Kombat 9 was like not like a super casual friendly. Neither was MKX. They were not super casual friendly, but it still sold so well because it had so much content. MKX, if I remember correctly, didn't have as much content. Maybe it did as MK9. I don't remember. I just remember MK9 had like tag towers, towers of Tom, arcade ladders, the 100 fight thing, infinite fight, whatever it was. Lots of content, dude. And it was fun as fuck. And it was broken as hell. And it was fun as fuck because it was broken as hell. And I feel like if they just listen, dude, and press the backspace and go back to designing the games like that, like, I feel like they do so much better. They're so caught up, especially, and in the story too, like, they're so caught up with these, like, grand, like, multiverse fucking Marvel movie stories. Like, they're missing the fact that we just want to see some fucking ninjas fighting and a dude named Raiden who's a lightning god doing shit with a guy who's supposed to be a Bruce Lee ripoff doing shit, dude, against an evil kung fu shapeshifter who's doing shit, bro. That's what we want. I want like a grand story mode that like integrates all these characters in like a super cool way into like an interesting story. Yeah. Does it have to be a fucking Marvel movie to be that? No. Let's go back to the basics, dude. Let's tell a Bruce Lee story. Let's tell a Bruce Lee copycat with a Thunder God story. And that's another worry for mine. It's like, how do we get back to that, dude? Because like right now we're 3 fucking timelines deep. We have the normal timeline, the original MK1 through 3 into Armageddon timeline. And then we have the MK9 timeline that reset everything. And then that went into like MKX and MK11. And then MK11 reset the timeline with Liu Kang as a fire god. Now we have all of these changes. It's like, how do we get back? How do they write themselves out of this hole? Because as good as some of the changes were that I'd like to stick around, there are some changes that just I don't feel like are good or are going to stick or are going to keep the franchise recognizable, right? Like, as much as I like the MK1 story, as much as I like new Raiden, right? As much as I like new Raiden, what about old Raiden, dude? Because, like, everybody knows Mortal Kombat has the dude with the fucking, the straw hat and the white outfit, the fucking white as fuck pale dude who screams, like when he fucking flies actually like Superman. Like, yeah, you can keep the same moves, but if the character isn't recognizable for who he was, it's not the same character, is it? It's like Liu Kang now being the fire god Liu Kang, whatever. You're supposed to be the Bruce Lee ripoff, and now you're the god of the universe. It's like, that isn't recognized. I know it has to evolve, but did it have to evolve in such a weird fucking way and into like such a way where so many characters are unrecognizable? Like, Melina was a jobber, Ermac was a jobber, Reptile's a jobber. You can change those characters around and not have it be like a big fucking deal, right? But like the literal like main fucking characters, dude. You changed Shao Kahn, you changed Liu Kang, you changed Raiden, bro. What are we doing here? Like, where do we go from here? How do we get back to that simple story without rebooting again? Because I don't want another reboot. Like, holy shit. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, what do we do? What do we do? How do we get back to the simplicity? I think step 1 is going back to the gameplay that we designed along with the single player, the gameplay that we loved. We go back to the gameplay that we loved with MK9 and MKX. We bring the single player content back with the tag mode, whatever crazy idea they want to add. You know, like MK9, they just kind of went wild. Just give us good single player content again, man. And I think that's a good start. You know, the story we can kind of work on as it goes. But yeah, I don't know, man. The future of Mortal Kombat, I'm just kind of worried at this point. I guess we'll see what happens. They've definitely taken a few steps in the right direction just recently. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope Mortal Kombat doesn't go away. I hope it doesn't go dormant. I hope it doesn't get the Marvel vs. Capcom treatment. I think if they continue in these right directions, like we're okay, we're doing good. But man, I just worry if this next game is not designed in a way to where casuals and competitive players can enjoy it. At least at this point, bro, as much as I hate MK11 and how that game was designed entirely for casuals, it just was. It was designed entirely for casuals. Dude, give me that again. Give it to me again, just so we can make sure Mortal Kombat's not going anywhere after how badly MK1 did. I don't give a fuck. Give it to me. Whatever. I'll have my fun. I'll have some fun, and then I'll hate on it for a little bit, and then I'll quit talking about it. Whatever. I don't know. Just whatever. We gotta make sure Mortal Kombat doesn't go